Okay, I know this is gonna come out late. Do I have a good reason for it? No. But I know it is, so that makes me feel better about it. EVERHOOD 2 is a rhythm game where you do rhythm things and then things happen. I genuinely have no other way to explain EVERHOOD at all other than that. And EVERHOOD 2 is worse than EVERHOOD 1 because at least EVERHOOD 1 had a story that was more than just the philosophy behind it. Let's talk about EVERHOOD 1 real quick. EVERHOOD 1 had a build-up with the character to the climax point where you finally got your hand. I'm gonna spoil the whole game, by the way, so if you don't want to see that, fuck you, you're too late into this. You get the hand, and then you kill literally everybody. There was a couple different endings you could have picked, but one main ending where you kill like God or something, and the game ends on that. If you try and reload the game, it just does it. It just does not. EVERHOOD 2 is just fucking confusing. The second one heavily focuses on its whole philosophy. Very much so. It is still super entertaining if you don't really care much about the philosophy about it, and has a lot of cool secrets or jokes and funny things that happen between it. But a lot of the main story focuses on the idea of like meeting God and mortality and shit. And it puts pretty much all of its eggs in that one basket. Beyond that, there is very little involving different characters or things like that. There is characters, and there's maybe 6 I can think off the top of my head that I remember, and it came down to mostly how they ran shit. In EVERHOOD 1, it was the same kind of group of characters mixed between all these different little worlds, and they constantly interchanged or merged with each other. There was that big table set with all the Green Wizard and Nosferatu and the Vampire and Lost a Lot and all those different characters. They constantly merged together and followed you around to these different worlds and that. And in the new one, I think there's 4 of them in total. It was a very small amount of them in total that kind of followed you. I can actually name them all right here. You had Irvine, Riley, Sam, Raven, kinda Lucy, and then the 3 or 4 slavery boys, which is what I'm going to call them, but they didn't do fucking anything, so I can kind of just put them in the corner over there. They were like fight scenes, and then beyond that, they were technically qualified as people who, you know, were also dimension hoppers, but kind of just stayed in their own little corner. Except the Gecko, he came back. The Gecko was a goat, I'll give him that. And other than 2 of them, which is Sam and Irvine, who actually were through most of the game, the rest of them did very little. I think Lucy had like 1 optional thing and became a staircase. I think Raven just got depression and was kind of bullied throughout the whole game. I felt kind of bad for him. And we'll get back to Riley, because I don't fucking get Riley, but it was something in the game. Hey, I know we were just on characters, but I'm just gonna jump to something else, because the game decided to do it, so I'm gonna do it as well. Let me just name a bunch of shit that happens in the first 2 hours of the game, and you guys can just try and figure out, like, the pattern of which way you did this. I fight a scary shadow man who kicks my ass. I go to a small concert to chase a dog. I become the king of the fruit arena by killing a massive fucking tomato. I single-handedly abolish slavery. Yes, this is real. I spend about 5 minutes exploiting the homeless. My screen decides to do this. I get locked in a room for 20 straight minutes with a man with a big head who explains the idea of psychedelics to me. I kill a magic dimensional gorilla. I brawl a homunculus wearing a cowboy hat who wants to have sex with me with my bare fist. I play a fucking Shmega console, and a cat starts a tomato revolution with a watermelon. I'll give you a second to guess, like, how they connect with each other. You had your time? Alright. I know the videos are probably going to help you a little bit, and there's 2 of them that I kind of gave away, but this is actually the order of which I did those. Now, without playing a game, is there a way to remotely connect those together? Because this game didn't really know how to do it either. And you know what? I fucking love it for it. Because you thought I was talking shit about this game. You thought the whole time I was doing a bunch of bullshit I was gonna say this game sucked. Hell no, this game's awesome. I would highly recommend it. Play both of them. They're really fucking good. I don't even know why I'm trying to review this game. This game's a mockery of choice. There's no point to any of it. Why does it matter if you do anything? It's a bunch of fucking pixels on your screen. I'm a bunch of pixels on your screen. This game revels in the idea that at one moment you're laughing at a bunch of mushrooms, and then it shows you this and expects you to know what you're looking at, and it laughs at you for it the whole way. And I didn't just pull a random image up. You can read that. That's a map. They tell you this in the game. That is a map that you can read. I don't know how to do it. I beat the game. I still don't know how to do it. That's a map. There's something there. And it doesn't hide this idea. From the very beginning, it fucks with you. it first opens up with a questionnaire where it asks you like how you believe in God, do you believe in the idea of mortality or what happens when you die, and then I shit you not, it decides to ask if you like Fortnite. The game is entirely made to laugh at you for trying to find meaning out of it, when the whole point is to find your own meaning, and I fucking love it. And you wanna know the best part about this? I could be wrong. I have no fucking clue what the story of the game is, and I think that's part of it as well. This is how I see it. I see it as a thing about making your own goddamn choice. I could be way fucking off about what they're trying to play. I don't know what the devs thought. I don't know what other people think either. Let's talk about combat, because there's no good way of ending this part I'm on anyway. I like combat. I think it's fun. I think it ruins half the music in the game. Then we're right back to EVERHOOD real quick. EVERHOOD had a system to the music. Everything played to a point because it was more survival based compared to a battle until you reach about the halfway point. Then it became more of a battle direct. This game focuses on being a battle from the very beginning, and they use a lot of the songs over and over again because you fight some of the same enemies over and over again. And from what I know, there's no survival option for a bunch of these. It's usually just kill them or you die and then have to reset the fight. So at some point in the music, it'll cut and then repeat a certain point over and over again. It's played pretty well. It's not like a quick cut and then back to it. It flows really well into the circular kind of repetitive motion of the song, but that makes the songs really boring. Most fights on your first playthrough are going to come down to usually two options. Either the first one is it is going to be over before you finish the whole song, you're going to one-shot the enemy and you're going to move on. Or the second one is it's going to go a very, very long time and you're just going to keep hearing the same part over and over again. And I'm also going to be entirely honest, other than a couple like really specific ones, none of them were like super bangers. If I go back to EVERHOOD 1, have you heard the Flower Song? That is perfect maestro work right there. And that's a horrible example because that one repeats too, but it's long enough you don't feel it. And because everything's scaled to the right level because you can't level up in that game, it works out okay because they know how long it's going to take you to fight something. In this, because they reuse enemies later on or you can fight them later with higher levels, everything just kind of feels super odd to do. And I don't even think every song is bad. There's a couple of really good ones. The Mushroom song is phenomenal. Which I won't play because I would hope you guys would do it yourself and experience this game. Rasputin fight was really fun, but that's because it was just Rush E, which is an odd song to pick, but I mean, I get it, so I guess that's fair. I did really enjoy the Samurai Tiger and his fight scene or fight battle music. It was really fun. And some of the other ones are really goofy, but they're quite enjoyable. But it's some of the, like, dud enemies or whatnot are just kind of mediocre to do. One point where I will give it credit though is one of the defense missions that's later in the game has it so the music keeps playing, and as you go to fight other enemies, it interjects directly where the music ended off. So if you go and fight an enemy, the music will keep playing, and then when you reach the next enemy, it'll go right to where the music stopped when you encountered the fight. So it'll basically just be an endless song going onwards, and it's timed correctly to work like it. It was also shockingly easy, which was something I wasn't expecting because the first game kicked my ass. This one was very easy in retrospective with it because of how they focused on the combat. In the first game, when you finally had your arm, you could absorb 2 hits and then shoot it back at an enemy. And it was really hard to get that hit off because there was no unbreakables or anything like that. It was one singular shot that just had to land and not be blocked by anything in front of it, or you would not get the hit. In this game, you can just fucking roll it. And this is just with your fist. When you get weapons, it becomes even easier because you can just remove downsides from everything. What's the fucking point if you remove all the damn downsides of everything? Why even use a weapon? They're just better alternatives. There's even one point where they know how strong it is, so they allow health regen to be turned off for multiple segments of the game. And it still becomes easy on the sheer idea that if you play as the blue spirit, I don't know if it's the same if you get the green or the red spirit, you get a life regen weapon. It just null and voids that. The game does feel like it has a huge emphasis on perfect running or one-shotting most enemies, and if that's the case, I can see why it would be considered challenging. But if you're just trying to play through the game and enjoy what the game is built around in the story, and you just shoot things like you're playing like normal EVERHOOD or whatnot, you won't even see half of it. Let's get into spoilers. Not like it matters, because, you know, this game's just wacky, so it does whatever it wants, but we'll get into spoilers anyway. I don't get why Riley became God. I understand that he kind of had his goal of being the big guy, but I didn't give a shit about Riley. He was kind of your like little pocket companion through the whole game, but he never really did a whole lot. There was never an option to really speak with him or interact with him in any other like way. You didn't have a whole lot about him other than he wanted to get to like the ferryman, and then beyond that he kind of just lobotomized himself for the next like 3 hours, and then wanted to become God all of a sudden. At one point there was 3 of him, and then that just vanished off again. Like, I didn't feel bad when I just killed him. There was no like emotion that went through. I didn't even get to. The shadow guy just killed him. There were 3 characters that I really liked in this game that I felt very attached to by the end. I think even more than some of the characters that I did in EVERHOOD. It was Irvine, Sam, and Dr. Dump. Shockingly enough, I like Dr. Dump a lot. These are the 3 that I felt that I had any connection to, that I was allowed to actually do more optional missions with, and enjoy doing them. A little bit with Lucy. She had like 2 little small things, but she was kind of an asshole, so I mean it was mostly these 2. But with the game's ending kind of just being a loop back over where you're just allowed to do it again, there's not really any closure for anything major that happens. You just kind of get set back to before you start the ending. I get the idea that it's meant to kind of feel hollow, but it does feel hollow. And I was kind of hoping for some closure to it. EVERHOOD was depressing. You killed everyone. Like, I mean, that was the ending. Everyone dies. But it was something. It wasn't just this, like, loop that just kind of sets you back and says, well, go fight the fucking arena, because that's fun. You know? I don't know, it was just sad. And like I said, that's part of the point. So am I even making fun of the game? I don't even know. I don't know if I'm supposed to hate it or not. This game has, like, a catch-22 on fucking everything. There's no way to, like, know if what I'm saying is the fucking point, or if I'm making criticism about it. Because I do like the game, and I loved playing through it. I will recommend it, but there's no way to explain why. Because it's such, like, that anti-game idea, where nothing matters, that it almost makes you mad. But I enjoyed all 10 hours with it. So I don't know what to say, really, and I don't really know if I'm gonna have an ending for this. Maybe I'll just cut it. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop talking and just end the video on this. Just like right now.